Let's move on to another topic now, but immigration, which is I know you guys want to talk about, you want to hear about. Recently, John McCain, you probably remember, was challenged at a town hall meeting by a constituent who asked him, where is the fence? Of course, he's referring to the McCain campaign platform and others who want to build a fence on the Mexican border. Now, obviously, that's not going to solve the issue, but I mean, we know a fence isn't going to get built. What will solve the illegal immigrant problem? Is anything besides that right now that they can actually, Republicans can actually pass?
No,
I mean, they're working on passing something now.
You need new leadership in Washington. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, I think I saw something yesterday from Jeff Sessions. I couldn't believe it. Jeff Sessions got this document from the state, I think from the State Department, and there were. Do you know how many people applied? If you didn't hear my show yesterday, do you know how many people applied for visas? For visas? Yeah. Oh, no, visas? Not for amnesty. For visas to come into the United States. 8.8 million people applied. Now, there's a law on the books, which if anybody's an immigrant here from the 50s or the 60s, they know it used to be enforced, which is that if there's a chance that you're going to become a public charge, a public ward of the taxpayers, you're not supposed to even get a visa, right? Do you know how many out of those 8.8 million people the State Department nixed because they might become a public charge? 203. So obviously they want to let more people. I know. If we enforce that law, Auntie Zatuni wouldn't be in the country today. But that's what we're up against.
But how are you going, considering the increasing population, voting population of Latinos and other minorities? How do you deal with this issue and ever win a national election again?
Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, look, people on Capitol Hill are telling me this. There's a civil war now going on in the Republican Party. You have Marco Rubio, you have John McCain, you have Senator Lindsey Graham. You have a lot of people in the Congressional House leadership who now believe the ticket to power for Republicans is to back some form of amnesty. And that'll lead to outreach to the Hispanics. I think it's a disaster. I think it's political suicide. I think it's demographic suicide. We have the numbers. It's been going on now for about 25 years. Just go back to Reagan. Reagan granted a limited amnesty to several million. Did that help the Republican brand? No. In fact, the more Hispanic a state is, say California, the more democratic it is. So if you have the demography of California, you will have the politics of California. The Republicans now, if they drink this poison chalice of amnesty for illegal immigrants, they will become, I believe, a permanent minority party. And I think what they have to do, and this is where I think I disagree with both Howie and Grant and Michael, forgive me, that's right, even on local politics. I believe politics is fundamentally about principle. And I believe if you stand your ground, and if you say, we have a constitution, we are a nation state, we are here to defend the taxpayers of this country who pay for the politicians in Washington, you will get no amnesty, you will get nothing until that wall is built on the southern border, period. And if you grant amnesty, we have just hold a gun to the Republicans' head. Fine. You may win a few votes in Phoenix. You may win a few votes in Los Angeles. But you're going to lose Iowa, Kansas, North Dakota, Idaho, South Dakota, because we're going to go third party. And I think it's about time that we told Republicans, clearly and unequivocally, it is time for you to stand up for Republican principles.
As far as the legal immigration issue, there's, you may have seen the stories too, Jeffrey. There's been several people who have gone back and looked at races on how Hispanic voters voted with Republican pro-amnesty versus Republican not pro-amnesty people. There was no improvement in Republican turnout by supporting Republican outcomes by supporting amnesty. I have none whatsoever. But it was interesting. I did a TV taping the other day at this restaurant, and one of the women who ran the restaurant, her family is from Brazil. And she listens to a certain show that I promised I wouldn't mention. And she said, you know, I love when you talk about legal immigration because I waited in line. I paid $7,000. I went to college here as a student and paid out-of-state tuition because I was a legal resident. I met my husband. We had to jump through hoops so I could get married. And there is an entire community of legal immigrants who are being made, their entire experience is a mockery because President Obama and Ed Markey are saying to them, you should have cheated and come here illegally 10 years ago. You should have saved money. Why? I would love to see, for example, you talk about how do you build the brand? You take some of that stupid money that they blew on that awful Romney campaign and spend the money on ads. Just run regular ads that say, hi, I came here legally from wherever, Ireland, Israel, Brazil, Mexico, and I'm a Republican, and here's why. Make the argument. Make the point. Hi, here's the $25,000 in legal fees I spent. That guy stole my job when I got here. Is that fair? Are you really against me, the legal immigrant? Put the Democrats on defensive with the information of these real voters who did it the right way.